Hello, welcome back to another Deck Doctor video. Are you sick and tired of playing meta decks every week at locals? Don't worry, your boy ElusivGG has been cooking up a fire aggro Arisanna deck, which is super fun to play. It is quite competitive, in my opinion. I am at a positive win rate, which is always a good sign when I'm trying to make a new deck work. It is on the aggro side, so you might have a couple of tough matchups into like a controlling kind of deck, but at this stage where the deck is, I'm extremely happy with it. The way it's performing, and I thought I would share it with you guys to see what you guys think of it, to see if you guys can extend on the build, play it at your locals, see how you go with it, catch a lot of people by surprise because a lot of people do not expect it at all. And yeah, we'll just get straight into it. Obviously, we are a fire aggro deck, so we do need our fire spirit here to get us started. We are then playing level 1 Arisanna in the main board. It is just obviously just there to be able to get our class bonus and just that little bit extra health when needed. The gather comes in handy for one card in particular, but other than that, it's just literally just to get our class bonus sorted. We then have everyone knows and loves this card, Grand Crusader's Ring, staple in every deck. We say it every Deck Doctor video. Poor man's Grand Crusader's Ring. Obviously, we are a aggro deck, so we do have a lot of allies that are always going to be on the board. So just having this on the board when your opponent starts to deal with one of your allies, you'll be able to crack this once it dies to be able to draw another card. We are then running Wind and Fire Bauble. This is just a medical in my locals. We don't have any water players, or maybe one at best. So at this stage, I'm just happy to be running Wind and Fire Bauble, just to be able to play them in those matchups. Then we have Sword of Seeking as well as Bulwark Sword. We'll get back to these in a second while we're running these. Then we have everyone's favorite card, Tariff Ring, just to be able to deal with these heavy ally decks. Example, our own one. Just to be able to make your opponent be able to pay more to be able to clean up or to swing at your face. Then we have something that I've been playing with and I'm actually really enjoying it. Light Scepter. It does say class bonus of cost 0 once you are Arisanna. At the beginning of each opponent's end phase, if that player has an odd amount of cards in their memory, deal 2 unpreventable damage to their champion. So just make your opponent play around this card a little bit, bringing it out earlier, even if you aren't the class bonus, bringing it out for 1 at times, just forces your opponent not to be just taking this free 2 damage a turn, which is really nice, and that has come in handy a lot of the time. We are playing Orb of Regret. This is just here to be able to fix our hand if we kind of got our opponent at a point where we like that their health total, and we're trying to find a couple of cards in here to just be able to do the final throw. We'll get to that in a bit. Just to be able to cycle your hand and find a couple of your answers. And then we have Smoke Bombs again, just to be able to deal with anything on the board. Give anything stealth, as well as also drawing a card and getting around some annoying units. That's the material deck. We'll get straight into the allied package. So you're playing a fire aggro deck. You best believe you're playing 4 copies of Arthur. This card is the engine of our deck. It's to be able to give everything else an additional damage on attack. Seeing this on turn 1 is probably the best opener you can have in this deck. Just being able to, on turn 2, attack with him first, being able to then pump up any of your other allies that you have on the field that you're able to play that turn by an additional 1 damage is always incredible. So this is definitely a 4 of. Then we have the amazing, everybody loves this card, Gildas, at 4 copies of as well. Just another fantastic aggro card to have in any ally heavy aggro deck. To go with 4 copies of Gildas, you best believe you're running 4 copies of Lurking as well. Just obviously the balancing part of this card. It's a good static card as well. Having this just sit here as a stealth ally as well is always nice to have. To to, you know, being able to go around anything annoying that your opponent might be able to play. Then we're playing 4 copies of Trained Sharpshooter. Just another poor man's lurking, really a great card to be able to balance with Gildas, as well as a good body line 2/3, just to be able to keep that balanced train going. And then we have 4 copies of Woodland Squirrels, being able to play this on the turn. You know, if you're going second, being able to play Gildas and then playing this on your second turn to be able to balance. And then you have 5 damage on turn 2, which is always nice on top of that as well. You know, as well as being able to play after the turn before, if you're going first as well, that is always just an extra bonus. Next, we have a couple of cards that are going to be able to start drawing some cards that we're looking for in the deck. So we are running 4 copies of Hasty Messenger. I will put this as a note. This is not a heavy floating memory deck. It is only running 4 floating memory the entire deck, which we'll get to in a second. Just want to let you know. So Hasty isn't to be there to be able to fill your bin with floating, but it is be able to fill it with fire. So you know, you're running a fire aggro deck, you're running 4 copies of Hasty. Then we are at 2 copies of Clumsy Apprentice, just to be able to play this, just to be able to cycle some cards. I don't want this at a 3 or 4 off because I don't want to see it too often. I do like it as a 2 of when I do see it, as well as we don't want to be doing too much damage to our face because we get to that in a second. But that is just another card that we have, just to be able to draw. Then we are running 4 copies of Tempered Steel, the only floating memory in the deck. If you're playing fire, you need floating memory. You are playing 4 copies of Tempered Steel in whatever deck you are playing. Then we have 4 copies of Forge Light Shield Maiden. Obviously, we do not get the class bonus effect, but we do get the Foster draw 2 cards and a discard a card. I was able to play 4 of these in one game on my opponent, one after the other. Being able to draw an additional 8 cards is just absolutely insane, and being able to also be able to put fire cards in our bin on top of that was just incredibly nice. And your opponent doesn't want you to draw 2 cards. So there's also just like a pseudo taunt as well, right? They want to get rid of this card quick, so you're not being able to get the bonus, which is always nice. Sometimes you just play this card just to be able to save some damage on your face. Then we have 4 copies of Rococo. This card is just awesome in a fire aggro deck. If you've played Xander, fire aggro Xander, I should say, you know that they run 4 copies of this card. Majority of them anyway that I know of. This card is just incredible, being able to play this once your hand's kind of getting a bit depleted later on in the game, to be able to play this card, deal 2 damage to your opponent for 1, and then be able to swing on top of that for another 1. So it's a one drop for 3 damage, which is just an insane value. And if you have Arthur on the field, another +1 as well, which is always nice. Now the cards that wanted me to build Arisanna Fire in the first place. So we have 4 copies of Manic Zealot. It is a 1/1 for 2. So just to be able to just some early cheap damage to your opponent, and then on death deal 2 damage to each champion. So this is the main reason why we weren't running 4 copies of Clumsy Apprentice, because I didn't want to be able to, you know, find the clumsies early and just ping my face for 8 damage. It's just a bit too much in this deck, especially when you have a card like this that will, you know, you never want to kill yourself with this deck, you know, or in a deck in the matter. So 2 copies of Clumsy was really nice, especially with playing 4 of these. And the reason why is we are also playing, I'll get to it in a second why the reason is, I should say. But we are playing 4 copies of Fanatical Devotee, a 3-drop as well to be able to balance with Gildas, which is always a bonus on top. It is a 2/2 Cleric Tamer class bonus. So memory +4, it gets +1. And then class bonus, on death, you may banish 2 other fire element cards from your graveyard. When you do, deal 3 damage to target champion. Hence why we want to be able to fill our bin with some fire element cards early, being able to play this later on in the game. If your opponent does deal with it in any way, you are just banishing fire cards from your graveyard to deal 3 damage to their face. you know, what great value that is. And then we have 3 copies of Inzali Unshackled Blaze. This is the card that I took out of the binder first, and I wanted to build around this card. So it is a cleric class bonus. On attack, you may banish a fire element card from your graveyard. If you do, deal 1 damage to each other unit. And then it is level 3 plus, memory 4 plus, it gets +2. We are not a level 3 plus deck, but I will say this, being Arisanna and getting your herbs and getting the level herbs will give you, if you're able to roll and get 2 of them, you will be level 3. So then that will actually come in effect, which is a bonus on top of that, as well as a 3-drop as well to be able to balance with Gildas. But the main line was to be able to credit my opponents with, a few copies of Manic Zealot on the field, as well as with whatever else, being able to swing at them as as aggressive as we possibly can. Then being Arisanna, playing this, swinging on attack, banish a fire card. You do 1 damage to every other unit on the board, including your zealots as well. And then when these die, we'll be pinging both our faces for 2 damage each. So it's just a crazy way to just catch your opponent off guard, and just to be able to just do an insane amount of damage to their face, especially when they're not expecting it. And then we have 3 copies of Blazing Throw, with the cheeky wink at the start, Warrior playing swords, just to be able to swing 1 damage or 2 damage with Bulwark, whatever you are playing, and then playing this for a cheeky 4 damage to the face is always super nice. Then we have 3 copies of Bottled Forge Light. I am liking this card. A lot of the time I'm not playing it for its brew value, which is brew 1 Razor Vine and 1 herb, and then on enter, if it was brewed, do 2 damage to the target unit. I am just playing this sometimes just straight at a 3 cost, and then sacrifice it, do 2 damage to the target unit. Again, it is just another way to just have this sit on the field nice and early. You're doing all your shenanigans or your your just standard fire aggro stuff, and then being able to sacrifice this to do 2 damage to their face. But in all honesty, I've actually had this here, and this is my way of dealing with Dream Fairy. So my meta and my locals is a lot of wind, a lot of Dream Fairy, which is super annoying. We all love to play the card, but we all hate when the card is played against us. So a lot of times I'll just have this sitting here early, not using it to do face damage, but just using it to deal with Dream Fairy, which was actually surprisingly really nice. And then obviously if I needed to just crack it to swing face, then obviously you crack it to do the extra 2 damage to the opponent. Then we are running 3 copies of Deflecting Edge, just another way to save some damage on our face, as well as just to be protecting a couple of our core cards like Arthur or Gildas at this stage. It was a way just to catch your opponent off guard, and just to save some cards that are important as ally wise, or to be able to save some damage on the face. And then we have 2 copies of Innovate Fury. This is nice to be able to deal with any mirror matches you'll be coming up as an ally mirrors that are flooding the board faster than you, being able to level up, then play this, the level, do 7 damage, split among or any amount of target allies you choose. Was a nice way for me to just deal with things. It is also a way, if I have Gildas on the field, I play this, I D-level, I clear whatever I need to clear on the board, and then also I am balanced as well, to be able to just keep the pressure up. And there were a few times where I wasn't able to find my Inzalis, and I had 3 Zealots on the field. So I was able to swing with them early on, then play Innovate Fury, and then ping these, dealing 6 damage to my opponent's face, obviously as well as mine, but my opponent's face, and be able to just actually cross the line that little bit earlier. So I just found this at a 2-off super nice. Obviously, you don't want to see it too often, but added 2 of was super sweet in the deck. Then we'll just go into the sideboard. We are running level 2 Arisanna in the sideboard just to be able to remove one of the baubles that we don't need. If we do need that extra health, it is only 3, but sometimes 3 health does help a lot, as well as just to gather twice, and then to be able to just probably just only once, to be honest, be able to just stack a double up to be able to draw a card to replenish our hand. Then we are running Trinket just in case for those annoying water matches or water opponents that we might be versing. Safeguard Amulet for the annoying Rise and the annoying Fire Merlins going out there. Nullifying Lantern, which hinders our deck quite a bit, especially with the Inzali and the Devotee strat, being able to banish a card from your graveyard. But sometimes, that might not be able to, the way you're going, so be able just to play this to protect you and just keep on flooding the board with allies is the best way. And then I'm mixing between these cards at the moment. So I am running 2 Rhapsody and 2 Embersong, just to be able to deal with the ally hate decks like the Rye deck that's going around, like the Rye deck doctor that we actually did the other day, that I've been seeing a lot more going around. So this is just there to be able to, if obviously they're going to be able to play fog cards, the cards that we can't swing in their face. I just side out 4 squirrels, side these in, and then if you happen to find them because the game stalls enough and you got enough fire cards in your bin, then this is just another way to be able to deal some additional damage on your opponent to get past that stealth. And then we are so that is the complete sideboard. But then we do have a copy of Inzali and Blazing Throw that we're kind of umming and ahhing with the Rhapsody strat, that these can always come in for either of those sideboard cards or to play around at some other cards that you might not want to see in the deck. But that was also just another option that we have. But yeah, I just thought I'll share that with you guys. So there you have it, guys. There is the Fire Aggro Arisanna deck that I've been cooking up over the last few weeks. The deck is super fun to play, as I said at the start of the video. So please do give it a go, guys. Let me know what you think about it. If you've got something similar built up, if you do end up building this to play your local scene, please do comment down below. I do appreciate each and every single one of you guys that are subscribed and follow the channel and give your support in all the videos that we do. Yeah, guys, let me know how you go. Have a good one. Peace.